All right, it looks like we are live on July 7th, 2015. And if you can't tell already, Bill has his Boba Fett hat on, and right at that angle, it kind of looks like the face mask of the.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see because I'm wearing the hat, so.
And also just point out, he also is wearing a Rogue Squadron Rebel Alliance t-shirt.
I will say it is my favorite game from the N64.
Well, that is a damn fine book series as well. What's going on, Mark? Excellent. All right, guys. So once again, welcome to our live show. We definitely have a fair amount of fun stuff to talk about. Wait, what was that? I didn't see that.
Bob taking a whiz.
Good work, Mark. Thanks for putting that out. Okay.
We got gold.
All right. So as far as like stuff that's going on this weekend, before we get into what happened on our Triple Threat weekend, we've actually got bi-coastal sales.
Bi-coastal.
Bill's been wanting to say that all day.
I have.
So we've got sales going on this weekend on both the West Coast and the East Coast. First and foremost of which is our G&G Appreciation Weekend held at GI Tactical Virginia in Chesterfield, Virginia. Now that's going to commence with a sale this Saturday on July 11th. You can check out a lot of different new G&G products as well as other products from the product line and take advantage of some discounts and other sale things we've got going on at our East Coast location, GI Tactical. Check them out on gitactical.com. And then on Sunday, the day after, we're going to have a G&G Appreciation game at X Zone in Chesterfield, Virginia, where again you can check out more G&G products and have a chance of winning some really awesome raffle prizes from the G&G staff. In addition to that, we have a sale, our summer sale, coming up here on the West Coast. Bill, why don't you tell them about that?
So the big summer sale is, if you guys don't know, we always have it every year. This year it's going to be on this coming Saturday, which is July, what's math?
11th.
11th, thank you. From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So all our friends down in SoCal or NorCal, if you want to come down and visit, we are going to be there. It's going to be an awesome sale. We're going to have Jack Precision there showing off some of the new products from like VFC, Echo One, Mad Bull. And then also Lancer Tactical is going to be there showing off some of their new products, such as these, which are the MMCs.
The Multi-Mission Carbine. Pretty awesome. These are really cool. I'm looking forward to taking these out sometime soon.
Yeah, these are actually very solid, but there's going to be raffle prizes, free stuff. First few people in line are going to be getting free money to spend inside the store.
To clarify, it's not actually cash. It's
GI bucks, but it might as well be money.
Yeah, you draw it out of the rabbit hole, and we have the different denominations from, I believe, 5, 10, 20, 50, and we've even got some hundreds in there, so you could show up and just be able to get like free stuff just because you got in line first. So make sure to show up there early as you can so you can take advantage of that of those GI bucks.
There we go. There we go. It wasn't loading.
Yeah, I don't know why the comments weren't loading. So, just to clarify real quick as well, we're going to go do shout-outs and answer questions randomly throughout the show, but once we get to the last, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes, we will commence with more shouting of outs and more question answering. So,
by the way, this episode of On GI TV is brought to you by Polar Pop.
Yes, 89 cents.
89 cents, any size, any flavor.
Yes, I'll have that back.
Oh, that's mine.
This is my. Oh,
no,
there we go.
This is my Powerade.
Okay. All right. That being said,
did you get Mountain Dew?
Yes, I did actually.
How'd I know?
Because I need the extra caffeine. Okay, so this last weekend was obviously 4th of July weekend, which was great, righteous, and completely American, thank God. But the weekend before, we had our BB Wars Triple Threat weekend, which was 3 games, 3 states, 1 weekend. We had a 2-day game in Northern California at Game Pod Combat Zone in Antioch. We had a 1-day game on Sunday in Texas at D14 Airsoft, and we had a 1-day game on Sunday in Virginia at Splat Brothers in Hopewell, Virginia. So it was pretty epic, and thankfully Rebels actually just, all across the board won that campaign weekend. So it was a Rebel win in California, a Rebel win in Texas, and a Rebel win in Virginia. So good on you, Rebel troops. That was very impressive.
I will say our game, though, was extremely close.
Actually, that's, I think, what made me really proud, because I do, coordinate the events here at Airsoft. I was really proud that I tried to make it as equal as possible, and through the actions of players on the field, like that was one of the closest games I've seen in a while. There were, I believe, at the end of the weekend, the total split was like both teams had around 600 points, but the split in points was less than 10.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous.
It was unbelievably close.
I will say, I think if we had a few more Imperial Guardsmen, it may have been either like almost tied, or we may have surpassed you. Well, it was really it was that close.
It was really close, and I will say, the the Imperial League Guard did have, a lot of skilled players out there, including one gentleman with a rocket launcher who works at our walk-in store, who was just laying down the hurt with that thing.
That was awesome. The final game, it was like, bro, we need Boogie over here,
Kill the buggy. So if you guys are at our summer sale this weekend, you'll probably more than likely run into Paul Kim, and you should definitely go up and say hi. He's got quite an airsoft armory of his own, and he was at our BB Wars game at GamePod Combat Zone, and he has his own rocket launcher that
is really cool.
Yeah, it's single shot rocket launcher, but he carries like, good lord, like 20 rockets with him. So
and it uses a big old CO2 tank from a paintball gun.
Yes,
and screws into the pistol grip, and it's like, oh, reload, crack it open, load one, close it, thunk.
What's amazing is that he can actually put those rockets down range ridiculously quickly.
Yes.
So it's like, boom.
And
rocket,
accurate,
boom.
too.
Like, he can get 3 out in probably about, like, 6 seconds. So it's really impressive. And point of fact, I'd like to make a note that we had Josh Mitchell from G&G. We gave him a chance to run as the gunner in the buggy, and unfortunately, that was the day that Paul Kim was there. I gave orders to the buggy to go around a certain corner near the airport, and they got stopped at an intersection. I asked why, and Josh wasn't answering on the radio. Apparently, Paul Kim had hit the buggy with a rocket, and it went through the supporting structure of the buggy and just impacted Josh right in the crotch. So it hit him right in the crotch, and he's like, "Oh God!" And he leaned out, and he had one arm outside the buggy. And Paul Kim wasn't sure if he hit the buggy because it didn't bounce off, so he immediately put another rocket out. And once Josh leaned out, the next rocket hit him in the arm. So it was just a 1-2 punch. I felt bad, a little bad for Josh, but
I will say it was intense though. There was one point at it where he went to fire, goes thunk, and the rocket goes like 20 feet, and he's like, crap, I'm out of there. So he's like, Bill, get my tank, and I'm like, He's like, big pocket, trying to zip it, trying to find it. Here's a tank, go.
It was overall, like, I mean, it was like moments like that made the weekend really funny. But it was crazy to see just how gung ho a lot of the players were out there. Like definitely the first day, my Rebel Troopers took the field, and it definitely felt like we had a little bit more spirit just going out there, like screaming and running and putting rounds down range than the Imperials. But they came back on the second day. I mean, that second day, the Imperials won probably the first 1 or 2 games, and it was really up in the air there. So I have to give props to all of them. Everyone was fighting really hard, especially since it was pretty warm.
It was
that weekend.
Very, very warm. But what's funny is when they open that gate, you get that nice breeze flowing in, which definitely helps cool you off. But yeah,
Sharpie Switchblade, your shout out is approved. Another interesting thing I found out about GamePod and when it's hot is that Craig, the owner or the operator of the field as well, was telling me that when it is warm, the closer you get to the sides of the field where the metal, the metal superstructure is, it gets warmer because the metal's heated up. So I was actually taking cover along the periphery of the field so much, and I was sweating so much, and then after he told me that, I was like, okay, that completely makes sense.
Well, you wear like not a combat shirt. You wear a full.
Yes, I wear proper BDUs in ATAX AU, the desert version, and I wear far too much kit for my own good. So yeah, I was definitely hydrating as much as I physically could. Morgan McComb's shout out though is approved. So it was a really good weekend of gameplay, and we had a bunch of different scenarios to throw people out in the mix, and they're also. I love talking about GamePod Combat Zone because every time we go back there, there's something new to do there. I mean, they haven't changed the field in a big way per se, but every time we go back, there's always like windows that are boarded up or that are opened up. So anytime that I think like, okay, I'm going to go here because I remember there's a funnel of fire here, or there's a place where I can put really long, or at least put really good suppressive fire on a long alleyway.
Nope.
Yeah, it's not. So like we had to walk the field, see what had changed. In addition to that, they had destroyable buildings the last time we went there, and they'd actually taken some of those units down and put them into ammo cans to make demolition kits. So essentially,
which those were cool,
really fun, right? Yeah.
Except for mine didn't go off. It was we had a moment because Daniel had the switch to go it off. So I set it up as a trap behind some barrels on the corner of the airport. And at one point, I go over and I check out. I'm in the 777 or 727, whatever that plane is.
737.
737. I'm sitting there peeking through the window. I see 5 dudes. I'm like, Daniel, blow it. The electronics were a wire came loose and it didn't go.
Did you arm it?
No, it was armed and everything. It was. Well, when I took it over to Craig after the game. He was like, "Oh, what the hell?" He opens it, closes it one more time, clicks it. Boom. Oh, well.
Well, here's the other thing: is you have to be within between 50 to 70 feet of that to actually go off. Because
Oh yeah, and then he came sprinting like with the clicker. He's
okay.
like, he
Well,
left his gun and came running.
let's at least explain to them what they are,
Yeah.
because it's an ammo can, and they've cut a hole in the top to where pancake flour or pancake batter can shoot out the top. And they use pancake batter because, unlike flour and other powders, it actually comes off your gear and be used really easily. So
shakes off.
yeah, so they have a radio control unit in there, and they have a rocker switch, which you might see on a variety of different joysticks, or if you're playing a dogfighting game. It's basically like a plastic cover over a metal switch. You rock the cover up, and then you flip the switch on, and that arms it.
All the race cars have it too.
Yeah, well, I don't race, so
I don't either, but I just know that.
Oh, okay. But you also have like a radio detonator, so you have to be within 50 to 70 feet of that for it to go off, and the cloud does shoot about like 5 to 6 feet up in the air. So.
Enough where you can see it pretty much from anywhere in the field.
Exactly. So it's really cool. I mean, the ability to be able to use that, and I mean, it's really fun when like you have to get to a structure, you get in there, it's like arm it, arm.
Oh yeah, no, that was fun part because one point Daniel's like, Bill, go take this to the bill. I'm like, okay, drop my gun, went sprinting, dropped it inside the door, and then go, Daniel, blow it, and then you see the cloud rising.
All right, we've got a note right here. We've got the Crytek Enhanced Keymod Edition LMG is now available for pre-order on our website. It's going to be available for $499.95. A lot of folks, myself included, as well as Field Marshal Dan, have been eagerly awaiting the release of the Crytek limited edition Keymod LMG. In my opinion, it looks like it's like Starship Troopers invaded Crytek's warehouse and made a light machine gun. So basically, it looks amazing, and I believe they actually designed the Keymod rail segments for that LMG based off the frame of the Sphinx, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, so what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I would have loved to have an LMG at that field.
Yeah,
I've been loving, especially that Crytek one because it's short barrel, a little bit more maneuverable, and they lay down the cover fire about. But
no, that would be a great gun for GamePod because of its CQB profile, as well as the fact that it's a light machine gun. So I'm reading the comments real quick. Someone's asking, are you ever likely to bring BB Wars to the UK or maybe Europe for your fans across the pond? We would love to, and we've actually been in discussions about, if we did go to a foreign country, like where we go. And a lot of it is based off like, okay, let's find out where our fans are, and the easiest way for us to do that is see, who buys from us and what countries, and we can see that across the board. So there are European countries that are in contention for that slot. So if you guys do want us to come there, I mean, I guess like see if there's any orders you can make from us, or like show your support by maybe getting a Rebel patch and Instagramming it to us, or at least like maybe putting up a photo and tagging us in. We'd love to. Patch. Okay, Rebels. Rebel patch looks cooler.
Green is a cooler color.
No, it's not.
Yes, it does.
No, not at all. You're a bad person. Okay, so I would highly suggest doing that, and it's it's always really cool to see gear and kits set up somewhere across the pond or anywhere else in the world, because everyone has different ideas on how stuff should be set up.
Sleeveless.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So, so going back to our game at GamePod, I mean, there was a lot of cool moments to happen. One moment I would like to get to before we talk about Bill's sleeveless setup is that when the Rebel Troopers had those demolition kits, we'd blown up 3 of the objective buildings, and we had only a few minutes to get to the 4th objective building, which was the airport. Now, our tried and true tactics of human wave charges on the Rebel side seem to be actually pushing us forward. So we're able to get right up to the airport, but not close enough. We just had to get that demo charge in the window.
How do you get people to do the human wave charges? Because we were having issues getting people to push up, and because there's like, we were like, come on, we just need numbers to take this corner. Come on, come on.
My strategy in that specific instance was I grabbed 4 or 5 people. I was like, look, I want you guys to be the first charge, but what you're going to do is you're going to grab all these 4 or 5 barrels, and you're going to low crawl and push them up to form a wall. So those guys are right there shooting when they can, and then I grab about 10 more guys, and then they're the next charge. So they charge forward, the guys behind the barrels stand up, and hopefully with those people and then the follow-up reinforcements that are coming up, we can just get the demo guy to the door and detonate it.
Okay,
And
because usually what I was doing, I was like, you, and you're with me, and they'd be like, okay, and then they'd follow me and we'd go carry out stuff.
Yeah, and that works up to a point, but 5 people for a charge is not.
Oh
really
yeah, no, it was like the schoolyard.
Yeah, no.
That is damn near impossible to get without like 10 to 15 people.
No, absolutely.
Which is why at one point I charged by myself because no one was following me. I took out probably 2 or 3 guys, but I got killed. But then everyone was like, yeah, we could do this. And after I die is when everyone charges up.
Well, I mean,
it worked.
That's a big part of it, is like when you are doing human wave charges, like the most convincing thing to say to get people to follow you is follow me, or I'm going, who's coming with me?
Yeah.
Real quick, someone was asking, is it okay if I make a Dartle shirt? I think that's totally okay.
Hashtag Dartles.
So that being said, got those guys up there with the barrels, then led another human wave charge. But what the most interesting moment for me was that we were just working against the clock. We had 30 seconds left. Human wave charge. We were literally fighting over inches and feet, and we finally got barely up to the window. The gentleman with the demolitions kit ran up to the window, and all he had to do was just get it inside and hopefully not land on anybody. He put the demo charge inside the window, let go, and me and Craig, the owner-operator of GamePod Combat Zone, were watching him. He let go of it, and then probably a quarter of a second or half a second later just took like 5 rounds to the face.
Oh.
So the demo charge hit the ground. I hit the detonator, and I couldn't tell if it went off. And right after I hit the detonator, it was like round over. So I went over to check, and the demo kit went off to the side, and it actually shot the pancake batter laterally across the floor. So it did go off. So that was super close. And in all honesty, if we hadn't accomplished that, we might have lost the entire weekend.
I think one of my favorite moments was I was trying to take over Schoolyard. Because if you guys don't know, Airport and the Schoolyard in GamePod are the most contested parts of that field, because they're the 2 corners that basically, if you control one of them, you control basically the 2 main streets along the outside. But I knew there were people there, and then we just had, I had fun with barrels, including I threw one over a minivan.
I heard about that.
I got the okay from Craig. I look up the one ref was like, hey, Craig, it's okay if Bill throws this barrel over the minivan? And I look at him up in the tower, and he looks down, and he just gives thumbs up. I'm like, all right, throw it over. But there was one where I kicked the barrel, and then a second later, I come out to shoot the people, and they're sitting there like this, the barrel sliding, like, huh? Like watching the barrel, and I'm like, oh, I got you. Tick, 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 tick.
Distractions are underrated, as you can attest to.
It
can be effective.
Honestly, it's fun. Like, they stacked up the barrels. You guys stacked up the barrels at one point. I was going to run through them, but then I was like, that might hurt because I might fall. So instead, I ran by and punched one like probably about 10 feet and continued to fire.
All right, really quick, let me answer some questions. Old Christian was asking, do we ship to Norway? We ship globally now. And so what you can do is we ship the vast majority of the products on our website, airsoftgeo.com, all across the world except for North Korea, because
they suck.
Well, I was going to say they've been bad.
Well, same thing.
Yes. So in addition to that, if you guys want to, or if you're curious what we ship globally, what you can do is put a bunch of items in your cart and hit the global checkout button. And it'll let you know of any duties, taxes, or fees, or if there are any items you have to remove from your cart because it's not legal to ship to that country. Like, there's certain countries, there's certain guns we're just not like legally allowed to ship over there. So it's a really easy way to check. And if you want to get quality American-made products or just really cool Airsoft GI specific products like the Rebel patch, you don't want the Imperial patch, you can get them from airsoftgeo.com and just click on that global checkout button. Shoot, there was another really good question here and I can't remember it. Consarn it. Oh yes, this is from Morgan McComb. When are you going to get the PTS KWA LM4 mags? I know it's frustrating, guys. I mean, Bill and I both use LM4s. We love those guns. But in all honesty, we get those LM4 mags in as soon as they're available. And the only reason we can't get them is because they're not available.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sometimes it's really tough. I mean, and that's why it's important when you guys know you want something and it's available, get it as soon as you can, because it's in Airsoft, a lot of people aren't aware, but there are limited production runs on just about everything. They'll make a big or a medium-sized production run, and then they'll wait until they need to do it again. And sometimes that'll take a while. So specifically for KWA products and specifically LM4 mags,
I need 2 more, and I'm just like,
yeah, we're all in that same position. So believe us, if we can get it, if it's available, we will get it.
This is right here. So before we go into my discussion of sleeves, wanted to show this off. This is a new G4 Custom. This is the G4A2 Fire brand. Now it's going to retail for $245 at airsoftgi.com, and this is one of our new models. Obviously, you can see right here, you got the Troy Industry. God, I can't talk. Troy Industries rail, along with the 3 rail segments. It has flip-up iron sights, and it is going to include the SOCOM Gear KX3. I guess that's technically a compensator, but I mean, you'd say it's a flash hide or whatever. But pretty cool new model. Going to be more of a CQB variant. I really like it. The Troy Industries style rails are actually really comfortable to hold without any like vertical grips or anything.
All right, someone is asking us in the YouTube questions to go to our YouTube and click discussion. Tell us more about what that means, because I don't want to just change the YouTube in the middle of the broadcast, but I'm kind of curious what that means.
Yeah, I kept seeing that too, and it's targeted towards me, but I'm not in charge of the computer right now, so I don't know.
Good question. This is from Ross Fadal, or Fidale, or Fadale. Please forgive me if I just mangled your last name. Hey, fellas, what do you think is better, a CO2 or a spring sniper rifle? I'm looking at getting a sniper rifle. I'm not sure which one to get. That's a very good question, and a lot of it has to do with your own personal preference. If for me, like when I got into sniping, and for the vast majority of my sniping career in airsoft, I've been a gas sniper rifle guy, and that's mainly because I want to be able to cycle the bolt really quickly, and also I want to be able to cycle it quietly when I need to, because there have been moments where I've had people around me when I'm in a ghillie suit. I want to cycle the bolt with my pinky really quietly and put it back in so I can get ready to fire. So on a CO2 or a gas sniper rifle, it's going to be a lot easier to cycle a bolt than on, say, a spring sniper rifle. However, a gas sniper rifle isn't going to operate even close to as good as a spring sniper rifle would in colder climates.
And I believe the spring ones tend to be more consistent in terms of FPS.
That is correct. Spring ones are generally, almost always, more consistent as FPS goes, because when you get to the end of the mag, the gas will kind of peter down. And same thing on a CO2 cartridge. However, CO2 cartridges, they usually don't peter down until really right at the end there.
Yeah.
And CO2 does work better in colder climates than green gas, but the operative word here is better. The colder it gets, the worse it's going to perform.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just think about those two ideas when you're thinking about a sniper rifle. And also remember, if you want a sniper rifle and you want it to shoot like 550 or 600 feet per second, I would suggest 550 or 500. And you have a spring sniper rifle, it is going to be very difficult to cycle that bolt because you're going to be working against the spring.
We got those JG Bar 10s that we have the custom built. I think they shoot like about 550. Those bolts are pretty hard to pull back.
So that's something to keep in mind if you want to get follow-up shots.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, since they're right-handed, it's easier for you. If you are a right-handed shooter, when you're lefty, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, it's like
something weird.
Yeah, it's really difficult. So, now, if people were actually looking for LM4 style mags, we actually have I believe it's the PTS Masada gas blower rifle on pre-order right now.
No, it's in stock.
It's in stock.
Both of those are in stock. What happened was we had the pre-orders on the mags themselves, but those sold out like that. So we still have the PTS Masadas though.
Yeah, but the mags are all spoken for.
Mags are all gone.
Dang, that's too bad. Those are really interesting mags. Okay, DM Airsoft 23, your shout out is approved. All right. Let's see. What can we talk about?
We're on sleeveless escapades.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? Because Bill was not wearing what I like to call sleeves, or otherwise known as actual sleeves.
Yeah.
At BB Wars at GamePod Combat Zone. Now you did that because it was.
I knew it was going to be hot, really incredibly hot. Because I remember Assault on Antioch, how I was on the tan side, and remember my shirt. It started out as tan. Come off of the field from a gameplay, take off the plate carrier. Shirt was brown from how soaked it was. Like it went from tan to brown. So I was like, you know what? I know it's close quarters anyway, and if I'm wearing long sleeves, like I'm still gonna get the same marks no matter what. So that's what I was like, you know what? Screw it. I got green shirt, cut off the sleeves, rolled them up, so it was just literally you had this thin strip, and then my plate carrier sat on top of it. And honestly, like it was nice because it was just so much cooler, and the breathability. I was just like, oh, I'm not dying as much as normal.
You definitely looked more comfortable as far as heat-wise. You looked a lot scarier because, you've got your guns out. But you're also very easy to identify. There was one time you came around a corner and, literally I had, a fraction of a second. I was like, that's totally Bill. I'm going to shoot him right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's okay. You're super easy identifiable because here's the wall. I'm like, oh, there's Bob.
No, it's funny because, usually I'm the only one that's like that. So it's fun to see, someone on the enemy team is like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it came in handy too because when Daniel at the beginning of the game, he's like, "Oh, and this is Bill. He's going to be helping me. If he grabs you for something, just go with him." And I was like, "Yeah, just look for the guy who's not wearing sleeves," because I was the only one on Imperial that didn't have sleeves. I think there was one guy on Rebels that was running sleeveless. Also, there was one guy, I think.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Now it was fun because like we engaged each other a couple times, and you felt pretty certain you shot me, which I'm sure you did. And there was one time where I felt really certain I was shooting you. My gun was shooting on a double tap.
Yeah.
And then you were showing me like some of the wounds, and you had two right next.
Yeah,
to each other.
two right next to you.
That's
Just like
me.
that's gotta be love. Because when we got you guys around the spawn, there was one point you came up to the car and I was like, "Hey, Bob's face," and I think I just saw you like, "Ah,
yeah, clearly, jeez." Gosh, a lot of people are asking what kind of soda is that. This is a Polar Pop cup from Circle K. It's basically 89 cents. You get any size, so we always get the biggest one.
Yeah.
I've got Mountain Dew Raspberry Blast or something.
So I got a blue Powerade.
All right, moving on.
Refreshing.
Okay. Mr. Lord Swaggins. This is a great name. What's your opinion on the Stoner LMG?
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of that gun. I actually don't personally own any LMGs because I can't afford to get one right now. If I could, I'd want to get that or probably the Crytek Enhanced LMG. That'd be a tough call. That'd be a really tough call. And part of the reason for that is because there's a lot of history with a real firearm version of the Stoner LMG. A lot of versions of that gun were used as far back as Vietnam by Navy SEALs. And that's also one of the only guns that I'm currently aware of that start out with a 10-shot burst feature.
That's awesome.
It is also eminently convertible from an assault rifle that was magazine fed to a belt fed gun. I mean, you could take the stock off, you could replace it with other stocks. It was very customizable in an era where guns weren't easily customizable. So a really, really cool gun that has a lot of history and is also ridiculously functional in the airsoft battlefield. The Wojiks, Lynn and Michelle Wojcik, aka Lady Lynn Airsoft, love using their Stoners, and they rock with them. They are just kicking people's butts wholesale when they play Airsoft.
I will say that this is kind of a little off topic, but on the 10-round burst and stuff like that, I need to look up how exactly a burst works in a real firearm. Like, in terms of how is it able to do exactly 3? Because I know with a full auto sear, it just changes a little bit of the geometry in terms of the plate, but how do you do it for 3?
Well, I mean, Eugene Stoner was what's that called, a genius. Yes. So I'm sure he figured it out.
I'll have to look that up. That crossed my mind when you said 10-round burst. I'm like, how the hell did they do 10-round burst?
Think about it. You have a 200-round magazine, and you pull the trigger 20 times, and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy.
But, yeah, I'm kind of the same boat. I want an LMG, but it's like, okay, LMG, Glock 17. LMG, Glock 17.
Actually, there's another good question from someone's asking us to talk about Russian kits. Connor Verate or Virat. I'm really sorry that I probably mangled your last name. What are our opinions on Russian kits? We actually had some folks dressed up in pretty solid Russian kit at Episode 2 at GamePod Combat Zone and Episode 1 at D14 Airsoft in Sanger, Texas. I think Russian kits look really cool. Unfortunately, with the expansionism that Russia is doing currently, that makes them much more prevalent in the world, and thereby you see more of them in the airsoft fields. However, I mean, that's mainly related to their own aggression overseas. However, the kits themselves look really cool. I've been seeing a lot more of them in games such as Milsim West. Obviously, the team Rushing Russians pops into my head. Yes. I've had great experiences with those guys on the airsoft battlefield, and they've got a great Instagram. So I think Russian kits look really cool. They also look really comfortable. So I've been thinking about picking up some Russian kit myself.
Except the whole that helmet with the mask thing, I feel like that's not that comfortable.
Well, maybe. I mean, bar none, I'm a big fan of looking cool, and that helmet looks cool. When we first went to D14 Airsoft, we were walking around their mosque, their big, just mosque fortress that they built, and there was a kid with one of those helmets that has, like, the ballistic glass, and he started to take fire, and he just went like this. It's like, and the whole thing went sunk, and then he started to return fire.
That's awesome.
And it's not like he needed to do that. He had iPro on, but I think he just wanted the face protection.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I mean, if
the pajamas.
The pajamas are. That's what I talk about. Russian BDUs seem a lot more comfortable than you'd expect. Now, also, I mean, I'm not certain on this, but I believe if you do get real Russian headgear like helmets, the Russian military integrates their comm systems into the helmet, which is rather
Really?
interesting.
Did not
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. They also they fight on um, they have different doctrine than the U.S. military. They go according to timetables, so they set objectives and they set times they want to achieve them, and you don't call in unless something affects the timetable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very different.
So if it's like something happening, like, all right, it's getting pushed back an hour. That's when
Yeah,
you.
it's like this is screwing with our timetable. Expect this to be pushed back. So it's different. Their fighting style is different doctrinally than the U.S. military.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
What's
Very
funny is also how I was looking at some pictures of Russian military, how a lot of their weapons and stuff like that,
Mhm.
they use like EOTechs and stuff like that.
Yes, they. I mean, they. It does seem, and I'm not an expert on Russian
Yeah.
military equipment. I just read as much as I can in the time allotted. But it does seem like they do take a lot from American operators, or I could be wrong. Maybe it's just something they've learned in their own battle space. Someone is asking, how much does it cost to ship to the Philippines? Well, it really depends on what you get. So again, I'm going to refer you to go to our website, airsoftgi.com. Click on a bunch of stuff and add it to the cart, stuff that you want. Put in your address, and it'll show you on any duties, taxes, or fees you're going to have to pay to get in your country, and whether or not you can be shipped there as far as legal reasons. So just check it out, play around with it, put what you want in the cart, and then our global checkout system. When you hit the global checkout button, will tell you what it will cost and what you need to remove, if anything. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Thank you. What do we think about World War II airsoft? That's Bill's thoughts.
I think it'd be fun.
It is,
weird back spasm. Sorry.
Yeah, unacceptable. I've had a lot of folks that run World War II kits, a lot of friends, I should say, and it's really cool to see them on the battlefield because it gives you a different feel. However, in the United States, there's not a huge community like there is over in Europe, or more specifically the UK. So, I mean, the inevitable question is, why don't we get World War II game going? Well, in all honesty, the community in the U.S. is so far spread apart. It is very rare to see a legitimate World War II game going. However, that would be really fun. I'm not going to lie. I would love to do that.
Someone asked what shirt I was wearing. I'm wearing a Rogue Squadron Rebel Alliance Enlist Now shirt I bought at Disneyland.
Private Haymaker, Bob, any ideas for on mags for King Arms P90? The little clip inside the clip broke. Any thoughts? I'm not personally sure which clip you're referring to. I assume it's on the magazine. However, if you want to check out our website and look for mags that you might want to use, based on price or based on high caps or mid caps, check out those mags and call our customer service department, because they have a direct line to our tech department, which means you can call them and ask them like, hey, how will this magazine function with my King Arms P90? And they can give you an answer right off the bat based on what magazine you're asking about, because they can obviously ask the techs. That's the best way I would think you should do it, just because they have a wide very a depth of opinion that you will find over in our tech department. They're world class and they are amazing at their jobs. Okay. Why don't we go back to BB Wars for a little bit, because the fact that the Rebels won all 3 games coast to coast means that my Rebel troopers secured a lot of different strategic resources for use in the final BB Wars battle. So it's going to give us quite an edge, which will be...
Well, we'll see what happens in episode 3 in the next Battlefronts. It could,
things could swing back, but it's going to be tough, because, I mean, if we're going to update the BB Wars website later this week.
I'm curious to see what the map's going to look like.
Yeah, the Imperial forces have definitely lost some territory, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's actually, I want to answer this. Brute Miner, have you ever used Nerf guns on a field? Bill, have you?
I have not, actually.
Back when I used to play at what was nominally at the time known as Airsoft Playground, then Tax City, then an empty warehouse, I actually took a Nerf pistol out a number of times there, and I did it just because I thought it would shock the other players, because I would have my Nerf axe, and then I had a single shot Nerf pistol that would hold 2 extra Nerf rounds, and I had the suction cup darts, and what I really want to do is shoot someone point blank in the mask or the iPro and have it go, and then they'd be like, what the, hit? Yeah. I never got it to really stay on there, but I had a couple people
you gotta lick the dart before you put load.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that guy. But I had a couple people like, hey, bro, did you just shoot me with a Nerf gun?
Right.
I'd be like, yeah. And all of them were like, all right, hit. I just didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So So it's pretty
I
fun.
want that Nerf lever action rifle.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like the side-by-side shotgun.
Oh, that'd be fun. As long as you go, click, snap it closed, Terminator style.
Mm.
Oh wait, that'd be spinning. That'd be the lever
Yeah, I'm
action.
quietly judging. Posh Creeper, do you like milk sim or speed softers? That's an interesting question. I mean, in Southern California specifically, a lot of people believe that there are a lot of speed softers, and there are. I would say to agree. I don't know. I mean, it really matters what's up for you guys or what you guys prefer. I mean, in all honesty, I like milsim from time to time, and I like recreational airsoft from time to time. And then we also have the GI BB Wars events, so I get a lot of time airsofting. I don't often have time to go to a lot of different milsim games, but I like going. Like American Milsim. I would love to go to a Milsim West game because the immersion factor is crazy. I haven't been to a Lion Claws game in quite a while, mainly because of time constraints. I've had a lot of weddings to go to.
Broken Home.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah, Bill got to go to Broken Home. I had to go to a great.
I had to go to a wedding.
It was a great wedding. I've never been in a helicopter, and I was jealous of Bill got to be in a helicopter.
I've never been in a helicopter either. So.
Yeah, Mr. Apple, your shout out is approved. Okay. As far as folks are asking if there are going to be BB Wars in their specific area of the country, I'm not allowed to divulge locations of future BB Wars that have not been publicly announced. So I wish I could tell you because I want to, but I can't. So I am sorry, guys. Bob, it stopped. I don't know what that means. Shout out from Maine. Zach Muller, your shout out is approved, as is Maine's. Actually, I wish our editor was here because he's from Maine as well.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to America. America, your shout out is approved with bacon on top. Bob, looking for a smaller gas submachine gun. Any suggestions?
I know what you're going to say.
That's from Shadow Hunter. What am I going to say, Bill?
KMP9.
Bingo! I love the KMP9. It's loud. It's actually field ready right out of the box. It's got a ridiculous rate of fire, and it holds more ammo than other submachine guns in its category, and it's more affordable. So a lot of pluses from that, and it's from Counter-Strike, which is the main reason I got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah, because I've said it a lot. Well, I mean, tell them what's the machine gun you would like.
I'm actually a big fan. I like the MP7s. Just because the ergonomics of them, I like that. In terms of gas, I mean, it would be fun though to rock like two KWA Mac 11s.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome.
Matrix all up in this. Ooh, actually, I have not seen one before. I'm sure it was made. You know the really small MP5s, the ones that had like the little stubby.
MP5K.
Yeah, 2 of those.
I've been shot at by the gas versions of those way back in the day, and boy, the rate of fire was murderous. It was
like
crazy.
one of those ones like in the Matrix when he opens up his coat and he's like, then he just pulls them out and it's just like.
I believe those are Scorpions.
Was it Scorpions?
Yeah, those are Scorpions.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I mean, there's so many guns he uses in that.
Okay. Remember when he opens up the jacket and the security goes, Jesus Christ! I can't remember what he says.
He goes, holy shit!
Yeah,
and he just goes, and like punches him in the chest.
Really quick, Dylan Harfs, Bob, your sideburns make you look like Elvis. Thank you. I need to get a haircut. And by sheer coincidence, about 3 weeks ago, I actually visited Graceland, where where he lived.
I think you should do mutton chops.
No, I won't.
No, you should. I mean,
if
let your facial hair grow a little bit.
If I'm going to
grow a little bit.
If I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the full Civil War, where it goes down and then into the mustache. So.
Oh, or if you kids don't know what Captain Price had in the first Call of Duty, I mean, it was a thing where it's like goes down and I'm like,
yeah.
You just have to talk with a British accent and be very stern about everything.
My British accent is despicably bad. Anthony Catrone, I don't. Catrone, please forgive me if I missaid your last name. Your shout out is approved. Dutch B4K, your shout out is approved. Now let's see.
Somebody got a question for me. Felix Romero, what are my thoughts on the last Formula One British Grand Prix? Well, I really, really wanted Williams to win, but apparently the pit strategy didn't work out. And I should have known that it was going to be Lewis as well as the other Mercedes. And then Ferrari finishing in third. But at least Williams did pretty decent. That's what I care about.
I'm lost on all of that.
Yeah, well, you don't watch racing.
That's not true. I follow the Indy 500 because my cousin.
Oh, that's right.
My cousin races.
Yeah. Does he still race? Or?
Yeah, he raced it this year.
Really?
He did pretty well. I think he finished like 9th.
Well, his rookie year, didn't he get in second?
in his rookie year, he almost won the Indy 500, and then on the last quarter lap, crashed into the wall, lost half the car, hit the gas, and still got second place.
Yeah, but is it what's the
curse of the Indy?
The curse of the Indy.
The curse of the Indy is that whoever wins the Indy 500, which was that year, Dan Weldon barely beat my cousin J.R. Hildebrand, which check out J.R. Hildebrand Racing. It's really cool, and he's a good guy. And Dan Weldon beat him, but the curse is that I believe it's 50% of the people that win the Indy 500 die within the next year. And sadly and unfortunately, just a few races later, there was a big accident. JR's car my cousin's car went airborne and flipped a couple times, and Dan Weldon's got launched, and he sadly died at the race. So it's sad that the curse exists, I guess, or at least like it actually happens. So let's see, Bill, what is that hat?
Boba Fett.
Yep. All right, we're actually getting close to the end, so we are going to get more shout outs.
Bob, someone wants you to do your British accent.
I'm not going to do it, and
Can you do the Scottish though? The burn it to the ground.
Okay, so my Scottish accent I'm a little more comfortable with because I literally say a phrase from Braveheart that just gets like I'm pretty sure I can say this correctly, and it also sounds cool. Burn it to the ground. It sounds good. I think it sounds good. But yeah, no, it's tough. My Russian accent's probably a little better, but all right. And scene. Okay, Ross.
October standing by.
Ross Fadale or Ross. I think that's the way to say it. I'm sorry. Your shout out is approved. Frosty Muffins. Boobs or butts? I'm going to go with butts. I've always been kind of a butt man, but I do like boobs.
Can't it be both? But
it can be both, but like there's an equation in life of like you're going to have a little bit of both, or like one heavily or
I'd say
nothing.
Butt man.
Yeah.
Butt man.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. This Spectrum Airsoft. Your shout out is approved. As is Titan Entertainment. Their shout out is approved.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, that was awful.
That was horrible.
That was really embarrassing, actually. In fact, I'm going to replay that after we get out of here. Wolf Gaming, your shout out is approved. Can you try that again? That was so embarrassing.
No.
That's why I don't try out the British accent, because I know it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. Black Shield, are you guys going? I'm not certain that I will be there yet. I do have some family commitments that I'm still trying to figure out. However, we will have GI staff there to play on one or both days. So I'm really excited to. Oh, hey, Jay Pelaz 123. Bob made it home safe from Antioch. 13-hour drive. That's the gentleman that came out from Phoenix.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really nice. It's funny because like the first day, bless you, the first day of episode 2, I walk out before we even open the doors, and Jay Plaz is like in the middle of the room, and everyone's like, "Hey, you can't be in here." It's like, no, guys, he can hang out for a second. So it was cool to see him. It was good to see you there, Jay Plaz. So, anywho, Joseph Dela Cruz, your shout out is approved.
So what? Left-handed? What? Damn it! I had it. Now
Zach Fobel or Fobel, your shout out is approved.
Left-handed, what gun is easy to use? Well, I mean, that's kind of a tricky question because the thing is, since most guns are set for right-handed, you have to almost just learn how to manipulate the gun as a lefty. So, like, for example, I know they make ambidextrous selectors for M4s and stuff like that, but I've actually gotten so used to the selector being on the left side that even if I have a gun that has an ambi selector, I still go over to the left side to change it because I've gotten so used to it. So, I mean, M4s, like, and the thing is, if you, let's say you want to do a gas gun like an LM4, one thing I recommend, it takes a little bit modification for it to fit, is the get the Magpul bad lever for the real AR-15. That will help so much with reloads of your LM4. However, it does take some modification, but you can find how to do it on the internet.
Mr. Lord Swaggins, your shout out is approved. Cyber Commando, your shout out is approved. Christopher Kimiotek, your shout out is approved. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Carmen Does Airsoft's shout out is approved, as well as Jack McLaughlin's shout out, which is approved.
Wrong pipe.
Unacceptable. Bob, what does your cousin race? He races Indy cars. I'm trying to remember his sponsor. He used to be the National Guard car. I can't remember his current sponsor.
I looked it up the other day, and I completely forgot because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Bob's cousin races.
Yeah, but you can check out J.R. Hildebrand Racing. Let's see. Do Assassin Club or Assassin Cub. Your shout out is approved. Favorite pistol and shout out. Davin Farinella, your shout out is approved. Currently, my favorite pistol would probably be the KWA HK45. However, I've been using that and my Elite Force 1911 TAC both equally recently. I just like the HK45 just because the grip is so comfortable and it has a huge ammo capacity.
I'm a big fan of the Elite Force 1911 A1.
You like the original?
I like the original because, like the KWA one, because the older style have, instead of being a straight grip, like how modern 1911s are, they actually were a little bit rounded on the bottom. So if you have larger hands, it contours to your hand a little bit better, and overall I find it more comfortable.
Sam Carr wants SJ Airsoft's shout out to be approved. Joey Fenical or God, I'm really bad at pronouncing last names today. I'm sorry, but your
you make
shout
fun
out
of me for my accent, and you can't pronounce that guy.
Your shout out is approved. Austin Osmus, your shout out is approved. We're actually getting right to the end of the show, so I'm going to try and do shout outs and questions answered really quickly. Shout out to all the rebels that fought in BB Wars and you, 12th Dirtman, and all rebel troopers. Your shout outs are approved. How much bacon is too much bacon?
That there's no such thing.
Come on.
There's no such thing as too much bacon.
Although I could probably have too much Canadian bacon.
Well, that's not real bacon.
Well, that still counts. I mean, there's actually a wide variety of what bacon people consider like, normal bacon. Like, depending on where you are, like, that's normal bacon.
Well, we're talking America bacon.
Yeah, that's true.
The bacon with cinnamon sugar, or with cinnamon and sugar on it, like brown sugar. So good.
Yeah, I like cooking bacon with brown sugar because it creates a glaze when you bake it. Yeah, it's so good. Live free or rest in peace. Your shout out is approved.
Ketchup or mustard?
Derp Targeted, your shout out is approved. And I can't remember if I did it, but Mr. Lord Swaggins, your shout out is approved.
Ketchup for me. Someone asked ketchup or mustard.
Oh, okay. I'm ketchup too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wooly John, your shout out is approved. Let's see if there are any other questions we have before we have to go. Oscar Diaz, your shout out is approved. And Brian Tug's Life, your shout out is approved.
Derp Tarded, your shout out is approved.
I just did hit.
Well, he said one from me, so I said it.
Oh, okay. Bacon or ribs? That's going to be our last question. Bacon.
Yeah, I'm going to go bacon.
Yeah, we're going to go with bacon. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining our live show once again. We both voted Team Bacon, just so you guys know. But thank you guys for joining us for a live show. And if you're with us this long, head on over to our East Coast G&G Appreciation Weekend. This weekend, starting this Saturday, July 11th, all the way going through a G&G Appreciation game at Exxon, Virginia on this Sunday, July 12th, or come out to our summer sale on the West Coast, at our West Coast Walk-In Store this Saturday, July 11th. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff there, as well as myself and Bantha Bill. So make sure to come out because it's going to be one great heck of a good darn weekend. And that's a lot of different words added together.
Yeah, you threw
I just really piled them in there. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Bob the Axeman. This is
Bantha Bill.
And this is GI TV. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.